Hello and good day to everyone. That is you're tuning in here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Once again, I'm going to be the host for today's episode. My name is Dwayne, and right now we are joined by another exciting guest, I would say. And I guess to introduce himself, I guess he's going to give a better background about him than I do. So, Rick Raanes, how are you doing today? Hopefully, I
Hey
pronounced your name
Dwayne,
correctly.
I'm doing fabulous, man. What a great day today, man. All's good. Summer's getting underway, and man, the kids are at play, and we still get to go out every day and sell some real estate. So it's all good.
Get out every day and sell some real estate. Sounds like the perfect day for you.
Yep. We sure enjoy it.
Yes. And that being said, just my first question for you right now. What do you think is the best season for you, and what kind of temperature do you like the perfect day for you?
Man, I'm in South Texas, and so I'm in the Houston market, and it seems like it's always warm in Texas, and so we don't really have any of the seasons like a lot of others have. So we've got 12 months of opportunity. Obviously, the spring and summer is always the busiest part of it all, but man, the rest of the year is focused on still development. I mean, you've got people that are continually trying to make decisions for their family and where they want to live, and we just always want to make sure that we're top of mind so that when they do make that decision, we're their first phone call.
Hey, so going to be a busy year all around in terms of selling real estate. You don't have those winter season where there's sales are going to be slow. So yeah, I guess more money. That I could say.
Well, it's one of
And
the reasons why you're seeing a lot of people. Texas has a big focus today, and there's people moving from all around the United States to Texas simply, because of that. If you've grown up in the Northeast or Northwest, and you've got, different types of weather patterns there that people may or may not like, they come to Texas because they can play golf year round, and they've got all kinds of activities and stuff. So Texas is a big destination, and all across the state actually. So we're in a good spot for the real estate market.
yeah, I mean, personally for me, I'm not the biggest fan of cold seasons as well. When I was in Europe, I mean, I don't know if you guys will notice my voice right now. It's not as clear as it used to be because it's just the start of rainy season in the Philippines. So yeah, it's kind of like happening to me as well. But yeah, it's always good to be a sunny day playing outside, spending time with family, friends, and everyone else. And yeah, going to be positive vibes all year round. And that being said, Rick, I think that you really love your job doing real estate. And just a question: how did you got into real estate in the first place?
So that's a great question. I got into real estate kind of by accident. My background has always been a builder, so I've been entrepreneurial my whole life. I've done everything from tanning bed salons to restaurants and bars and nightclubs to auto repair facilities. We had a big towing company in Tennessee, and moved to Texas in the early part of 2002, and I got my real estate license just because I wanted to buy and trade my own property. So before the word flip was really a big word, I got my license just so that I could do that. And then the fun part about it is one day I was going to my broker's office. I worked for Prudential Real Estate at the time, and I was sitting out in the parking lot, and I was changing my jeans from working on a house into trying to go meet my real estate manager. And I was shimmying out of my jeans and putting on my khakis, and he knocked on the doors. He was parking to meet me about the same time, and he said, "Hey Rick, if you'll wear khakis, you'll make more money." And so then that was really my big aha. Was like, okay, I'm going to keep khakis on for a little while. And he was absolutely right. So I made more money selling real estate than I did working on the home flip. So here we are 22 years later. And, we've had a really, really successful run at real estate, 20 years and been in the business. And I'm looking forward to another 20 of just having some fun and a good time doing it.
Sounds like going to be another exciting 20 years, but it's quite funny and also interesting that it wasn't like your full-time goal. You just wanted it just so you can flip your own properties, but it ended up being your full-time job right now. And heck, it's the best, pretty much a lot better than what you were doing before. So
Well,
I'm
it
assuming.
has been,
Mhm.
and the thing that I like about it, Dwayne, is that it's put me in front of more people. I am a very high eye on the disc charts, and so I love the surrounding myself with other people, and I've got a really big servant's heart, and so real estate for me is not about the money. It's about the connections. And I just remember when I was first getting started, and one of the things that we were doing some business planning, and in my, obviously people talk finances and budgets and things of that nature. And my manager at the time asked me, he said, well, how much money do you want to make? And I said, well, how many people can I help? And he said, well, based on, so we went through a whole bunch of different numbers and stuff, but we kind of came up with, the average agents and what's an excellent agent. And that's kind of how the Rockstar, I've got a team called the Texas Rockstar Group. And so this was way back in the day, 2004, working for Prudential, which their logo was a rock, and they're not even, they're an insurance company, but they had a real estate division. And so when we were running our contests through different types of categories or whatever, they would always put this little Rockstar logo on my desk. And so I asked him, I said, well, what's the average agent make? And he would tell me, how many people they usually how many deals they close. And I said, well, how many deals a year do you think a Rockstar could close? And so he said, well, that's when if you're looking at a really successful agent, is between 30 to 50 transactions every year. And I said, well, that's how many people I want to help. So I never focused on money. I always focused on people. And I always felt like no matter what the price point was, whether it was a first-time home buyer or a luxury person, if I just helped people, God would take care of all my finances. And lo and behold, all these years later, that's still my drive, is the number of people that I can help, because, obviously the averages of what commissions are, if you help a specific number of people, it obviously correlates to the income. So every year I focus on families, not finances.
Yes, I love the fact that you're using the word helping them instead of like how many clients can I get, and you're
Yeah.
focused more on the amount of people you will help instead of the amount of money you can gain from it. And to be in a profession as long as 20 years, it needs to be more than just the money to keep you going on and doing the same job. Otherwise, it will be bland after a few after some time. And
Well, one of the
I'm
things
also,
that we talked about in a lot of our trainings is always, do you enjoy the process? There's a lot of people that you'll see in Facebook groups that always have some part of the process that they have a negative impact from, and so that becomes their complaint. It becomes the challenge of the industry. It becomes this thing. But excuse me, the people that really enjoy it are the ones that are the most successful. Now, there's going to be people that they're just driven, and they're going to be successful just because of their nature. But I think the best real estate agent is the one that just enjoys the process. You don't have to be this mega agent that's locked in on 100 units a year to qualify for this award or whatever. I've often said that if you enjoy the process, you're gonna treat the client at an elevated rate, and that referral becomes more probable than not. And I think the agent selling 15 to 20 homes a year could probably deliver a better experience for the consumer than the big team leader that's out there blowing and going. Now it doesn't mean that the systems can't be dialed in and function appropriately, but I just think I look all around. It's like, why do people continually choose agents that aren't busy? Because they want that experience. So I think that if you enjoy your job, I don't care how many units a year you do, just go out and deliver the experience for the client. And that's what'll keep them coming back year after year.
I mean, it just connects you with the other people. When they see that you love your job, they're going to say, okay, this person seems really nice. And I guess with that kind of energy, that means he could possibly give me a better deal than that guy who's just into the money and stuff. And,
think of it from the traveler that decides, well, do I want to stay at a 500 unit a year, a 500 unit resort, or am I going to go choose the independence of the Airbnb where it's just me, right? And that experience to that host. And a lot of people are choosing Airbnb because they figure that there's probably a little more personality. There's a little bit more personal attention. And somebody may only have one or two Airbnb properties, and so they can go there. And there's all this little fine details that make the experience outstanding versus what you could get at the big 500 room hotel resort. So, one of the things I try to tell myself and I tell others is like, how do you be that Airbnb as a real estate agent? How can you make sure all those little details and all those things are set up so that the experience for the client is outstanding? And that's, to me, that's the difference between a mediocre agent and a rock star agent. And that's, I know it's an overused term, but it's who we are every day. We don't want to be the mediocre agent. We want to be the rock star agent. And that's what our drive is on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I guess the personal touch of humanity definitely helps out when you're transacting or doing something compared to
Absolutely.
the usual one. Yeah. But that being said, you've been 20 years in the business, and even before real estate, you were doing something else. So there must be some, I don't know, hiccups along the way when you're getting started. It's not all smooth sailing. So which sort of challenges really got to you, and how were you able to accomplish those?
Well, I mean, building a business is difficult. It's, I think that you have to recognize that you are putting on the CEO hat every single day, and that you have to deliver the results. And it takes a special person to be able to have that mindset and that role, and who is going to be the participants on your ride. And the leverage that we've learned from the solo agent as we've developed our team. How do we find the right people to support us in our mission. And there's the leverage part becomes very, very powerful. And no one succeeds all by themselves. There's always some kind of support leg that's helped you get there. And the growth from our business structure was always about an independent agent trying to knock everything out. Then you go to the assistant role that's going to help you with the transaction roles. And then it's the number of signs in the yard. Well, then it's the sign calls that come in. So you have a buyer's agent, you got assistants. And then there's all of the opportunities that you have that recently, I say recently, within the last 10 years, the world of the virtual assistant has become very, very powerful. And there's the smaller details that typically the agent will forget, or time comes up and they kick it down the road. That leverage of having somebody that's very consistent in that back end role, taking care of just the small details, can become the difference maker between success and failure, and or success and mediocrity, or mediocrity to failure. And I think that everyone needs to be thinking about how they can participate in group thinking, and then also how they can participate in the leverage, and not be afraid to understand that that's a cost of doing business. Just like you have a cost to your broker, you have another cost to the development of your business, and everything that you have is, from a revenue perspective, a portion of that has to be paid out for the different layers of your business structure. And I think getting people to understand that becomes very powerful. But the problem is most real estate agents, they're struggling, and so they take their income from their commission and they pay their bills, and then they're stuck at a spot where they don't have enough left over to start all over again, and they're scared because they don't know if they're going to get another closing. And that's that deathly spiral that happens to a lot of agents, unfortunately.
See, and I guess it falls a lot in terms of building your business in the people. So you need to be really careful in choosing the right people to be part of your team. So in
Well,
terms
a
of
really
scaling,
quick
uh,
fun story is when we were
uh,
hiring a marketing director several years ago. It was right. This was probably several years before COVID. Our team was called the Rockstar Group, and so I set in my mind, the person that we were looking for was if you took a band, for instance, the drummer is the person that keeps the beat, right? They're the person that's like, hey, I want to I'm gonna keep an eye on everything. I'm gonna make sure the guitarist is right, the keyboard guys, and the lead singer. So the drummer is the person keeping the beat. And so anyway, I kind of made a Facebook post that said, hey, I'm looking for a drummer for our band, and I'm looking for an assistant, blah 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 blah. And so I put this ad out there. I didn't mention the word drummer, so I'm just looking for an assistant. And so this person responds, and so I look over the resume. We set up a coffee meeting, and so we meet at this coffee shop. And so the first thing I asked her, I said, "Well, can you tell me a little about what you do for fun?" And she says, "Well, I'm a drummer in a band." And I went, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "You're kidding me!" So we hired Kristen, and
it
she
starts
was
this.
with us for 4 years. And so it goes back to our old Keller Williams days, that what you focus on expands, right? So we've loved having Kristen as part of our group for many years before she got elevated to a new position with another company, and we were super proud for her. But isn't it interesting is that hey, we said we wanted a drummer for our band, and then lo and behold, here this person appears. And I mean, it was like hired on the spot. I didn't care what else she did, but the fact that she was the drummer, and it
It's
worked out
destiny
beautifully
talking
for
to
us
you,
for a
man.
long
It's
time.
telling you that, yeah, this is your guy.
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
you get it right than that. And yeah, fast forward, I guess, is doing an amazing job. And yeah, as the marketing director. And you mentioned earlier about virtual assistants. Is there a point in your, the time in your business that you were able to get one, or are you still having one right now?
Well, we still have one. We're using some for for video work. As my business has kind of shifted, I've moved into the world of agent support and agent attraction. I'm a growth leader with LPT Realty, and we still run our team. We're in the process of forming an additional team called the Eagle Nexus, where we're using a lot of different types of systems, and we're actually meeting with I'll call it the business development side of things, and where our 3 to 5 year plan is, and where our leverage needs are. And so, I mean, we're just 3 weeks into this new team, and so we're still putting all of our team together. And so that's a big part of where we're going to go. And we actually, interesting, we have a whole big Google Drive laid out for the things that we want all of our job descriptions to look like. And there's a whole section to the VA support for not only here in Texas, but what it could potentially look like for marketing and on national exposure too. So I think the world of support is something that's highly critical that you have to have, and if you just lay it all out, the cost is very minimal compared to local hires. When it's something that can be done virtually. And I love the fact that with technology that becomes more simplified, and the communications are easier today than it was 10 years ago. And so the connections are fabulous. And I would encourage anybody, if there's something that you're missing, figure that out, write it down, and then there's a solution for it. And the virtual assistants are magnificent at solving those small detail challenges that most business owners have.
Definitely. I guess some misconception about VA is that business owners aren't prepared to get one because they don't know what to give the VA. Like, okay, just do everything to help my business. You need to have a structure in terms of hiring the right kind of VA. So, you would guide him because, as a leader, you should know how you would utilize the people, because no matter how great of a VA you're able to hire, if you don't point him to the right direction, then yeah, it's not all. It's gonna be.
Well, they have to know what direction to head in, right? There, most VAs want to do a great job, but if they don't really know your personality or know what they sometimes the challenge that I've seen a lot of people have is that they don't understand the personality that you have and what you want to put out there, and so they hesitate to speak for you, they hesitate to do things, and so they want to make sure. And if you'll spend a short amount of time on the front end, the longevity is becomes super simple. And so, you want to, and my thoughts are, is giving people as much authority as you can. It empowers them, and they'll feel better about it. Just like you would anybody that's working side by side. There's really not any difference. Most people want to do a great job, but in order to do that, they have to know what to do. And if you do that on the front end, they'll exceed your expectations tremendously.
Definitely, communication is something that's really important. Not just like give something and then just wait for the results. It's good to guide them every step of the way, or not really micromanage them, because as you've talked about earlier, VAs really wanted to do good. They're resourceful. Most of them definitely wanted to make sure that they're doing, he or she is doing a good contribution to the business. But Rick, what do you think were the challenges in terms of like getting a VA right? I'm sure that it's not it's not perfect picking for the first time. Lots of trial and error were involved in it. So
well, I don't want anybody to ever not like me. So the challenge that I had is that when the first couple of VAs that you have is that there you try really hard to make sure one is right. But I go back to the thought process of slow to hire, quick to fire, and it's sometimes personality conflicts are not noticeable on the front end, but they kind of can be in a short period of time, and recognizing that it's nothing personal. It's just that in order for both people to be successful, they both have to be on the same page, and if for some reason that they're not, you have to it has to be okay to do that, because it's your business, and not feel bad about it. But I always felt bad on the front end when I was trying to first put it all together, and I would try to make things work when I knew down deep that they weren't going to. And the challenge that people have is that when that happens, is that now all of a sudden my mentality changes and my growth plan changes, and I try to refunction it to somebody else, and then that's not good for either person. And so sometimes it may take 2 or 3 opportunities, but don't give up because the first one or the second one or even the third one doesn't work. It's just, you're still trying to go through that. And I recognize that when we were going through a couple of assistants on the front end, that sometimes we had some great people, but for whatever reason, it didn't click. And so, we had to make adjustments. And that's when we ended up with our drummer. And she was with us the longest of anybody. And so I still am proud of the things that she's doing with her life. So, and we still stay in touch.
Yes, I guess the emotional connection, making sure that both your minds are in the right place and the right direction, also helps a lot. You're not, I don't know, disconnected in terms of like your ideas and how you wanted to run the business as part of a team.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And before we continue on, we'll just hit it off with a short commercial break, and we'll be back after this.
All right.
Overwhelmed with work? Well, meet your new partner from Sphere Rocket VA. In just a click, get matched with a virtual assistant who handles all the tedious tasks. No in-person hiring, no extra office gear, just easy online help from our recruitment team. It's like having an extra pair of hands minus the hassle. So ready to relax and see your work done just like magic? Choose Sphere Rocket VA and visit us at www.sphererocketva.com.
And we are back, guys, with Mr. Rick here. Hopefully you're still doing fine.
All good, man.
All good. So yeah, we've talked about, hiring the right kind of people, and we're talking about the funny and fun history about you being able to find your drummer, which is, I guess it's nothing sort of destiny, just calling to you that person is the right one for your business. But now let's talk more about your business. Like, we've talked about the amount of people you've helped, but what services and what products or properties do you sell, location, sort of that, if you can share it with us.
Well, so I'm in the Houston market in Houston, Texas, and our new team is called the Eagle Nexus, and we're still going to run our Texas Rockstar group for a short period of time. Sorry, someone's calling, but we're still going to run our Texas Rockstar group for quite a while. But the Eagle Nexus is our future, and our goal with this is to put systems in place again, utilizing technology and opportunities for lead generation aspects of the business, but then also using virtual assistant type platforms to allow us to communicate with those opportunities better. We have a pretty significant, over the years, my partner Brian Matheson and I have developed a lot of opportunities, and our databases are very big, and so we're combining those databases and then creating the conversations and the touch plans and all of those types of things. And then ultimately we would like to build and expand across the state of Texas, and we're calling it the Texas flight plan of how we're going to grow more Eagles across the state. And then within our vision within LPT Realty, LPT is 2 years old, and we've just crossed the 12,000 agent count barrier. And our mission is to be one of the most successful real estate brokerages in the country. And we're doing that with offering agents a real estate first option with agent choice on commission plans, and just more importantly, just a big level of collaboration with marketing. And I feel like marketing of the brands that agents want to pursue is going to be significant in the future. And the more awareness that the agent has to their downline or to their database is going to be significant. So we're just in the education process of coaching and training, and then the development of the sales aspect of it. So I'm loving what we're doing. If agents out there are currently struggling with a company, please reach out to me. I'll try to help you where you are. And if there's an opportunity for a connection there, I'd love to have you be a part of LPT, but most importantly, I want you to be successful. And if it's your current brand, and we've got some opportunities to help you with doing that too. So, connections are super important. My success has been from being in rooms with other successful people and with multiple brokerages. And I don't think that agents should be shy about reaching out to other companies for help, because we're an industry. We're not just one company, and the industry is more successful when we're collaborating on a higher level.
Yes, and Databrick is a really winning mindset, like helping other agents, not thinking that you need to hog all of the markets. Like, oh, they're not competitors. You're basically nurturing the next generations of real estate agents for the future.
Well, Dwayne, there was a guy just recently we were talking to, and we've been in business in the same community for I've been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it for even longer. And I asked him, I said, you've been very successful in this market. I go, have you and I ever competed for a residential listing? And he said, I don't think I've ever gone up against you. And I said, have you and I ever talked to the same buyer about anything? He goes, no, I don't think that's happening. So, you talk about the significance of the numbers. So, I mean, why shouldn't I share everything that I know with this gentleman? And why shouldn't he share everything he knows with me? Because we're not competing for the same people. And when I think so many people get caught up in that competitive nature, they miss out on the opportunity for mental health and growth. And so for those that don't want to do that, I get it. Just go do your own thing. I'm probably not the guy for you, but I love people to communicate and talk about the things that are successful and sharing that, because I'm never going to hold anything back on anything that I've done, good or bad, with another agent.
Again, it's all about connections and all. No need for those competitiveness, because it's a huge market. You mentioned you've been working in the same area as that guy, and you haven't been for even once that competed with each other for the same client or potential customer. And that being said, before we forgot, Rick, what's the best way to contact you? Like maybe socials, you can say your number, email.
Well, I mean, the best thing to do is connect on social media. I'm the only Rick Raanes in the entire United States. So if you just look me up, you're going to find me. So I'm a one of a kind guy, and I
Really?
love that.
The only one?
If you want to reach out to me, my cell phone is 281-960-1900. I've had that number for 20 years, and I love answering the phones and talking with new people. So if you just want to introduce yourself and chat, please give me a call. I'd love the opportunity to meet with you guys.
Okay, Rick, it has been an amazing episode with you. You'll never get the wrong name if you call Rick Raanes. So yeah.
Remember, there's two A's now. So
Yeah.
Raanes, and but I'm the only one.
Okay, that's good. And yeah, so if everyone's interested, just be sure to search it up in socials. It's not going to be hard to find him because he doesn't have any duplicates or any guy sharing the same name. So Rick, before we end this, maybe you want to give some shout outs, or you want to promote anyone or anything business related or anything?
I love what we're building here with our Eagle Nexus team, and I love what we're doing at LPT Realty. I think the virtual brokerage is going to be the brokerage of the future. I think that if you're at a company that has a lot of great connections, you don't have to change today, but the future of real estate is virtual. And there's several great companies out there that are building stuff. I believe that the partnership plan and the publicly traded brokerages are the ones that are going to allow greatest wealth creation. So find your tribe, go out and connect with some of those guys. There's several of them that are coming up, and I really believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that virtual has been the biggest level of my wealth and success within real estate. And I would encourage everybody to look at the virtual side of things, because it's not on a cloud where you're just flying solo and you're not connected. I mean, the connections are fabulous, and the growth plan is phenomenal. And so even if it's something small, plant the seed today so that can grow into a really big oak tree down the road and support you at the end. At 60, I still feel like I got a lot left in my tank, and I'm really looking forward to the next 20 years of real estate, because it's really something special. And I feel like we've got some of the best opportunities that we've ever had coming up down the road.
Absolutely, virtual is the future, and can't wait to see the next few years and how it's going to go in terms of marketing and in real estate.
And I thank you for the opportunity to kind of share my stuff, Dwayne. And I already have an instant connection with you because Dwayne's my middle name. So we're all in great shape.
Yeah, like the drummer.
That's right. You got it. I appreciate you, Dwayne.
Yeah. Okay, Rick, have an amazing day. And yeah, that's it for today. And hopefully we'll see you again in the next episode at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.